Lady Colin Campbell, what on earth is going on? Just weeks after you revealed to the world this close, shall we say, friendship that Prince Harry had developed with a certain young lady in Montecito, they claim to be packing their bags.
This whole situation is very interesting because once Meghan and those children are back in the United Kingdom, that means that the marital home is in the United Kingdom. That means that Harry is in a far stronger position in terms of any future place where, in the event of a permanent separation or divorce.
What if Prince Harry's return to Britain comes with a condition he never expected? And what if King Charles is willing to welcome his son home, but only under rules that completely change what coming back really means? According to the claims and speculation surrounding Lady Colin Campbell, the biggest issue may no longer be whether Harry can return to Britain. The real question could be what he is allowed to have once he does. The reports surrounding Harry's possible return have raised eyebrows. Discussions about homes, schools, arrangements, and family connections sound far more serious than a simple visit. But this is where the controversy begins. If Harry believes returning to Britain automatically means reopening the palace door, he could be in for a very different reality. The alleged message is simple. Family reconciliation does not necessarily mean a restoration of royal privileges.
They really hate each other now, and they cannot hide it anymore.
She was the villain.
How was she dangerous?
Because of the need for her to rehabilitate her image.
Harry was not in love with Meghan Markle.
He was madly in love. The veil is now lifting.
Lady C's alleged warning suggests that Charles could welcome Harry privately as his son while keeping institutional boundaries firmly in place. Harry could see his father. He could spend time with family. He could rebuild personal relationships. But official royal duties, taxpayer-funded protection, public appearances, or any return to working royal life could be an entirely separate matter. The alleged condition? No demands. No assumption that Harry can simply return and expect everything to be restored. No expectation that the palace will automatically accommodate the Sussexes because they have decided Britain is important again. And that creates a very different picture of a homecoming. For years, Harry and Meghan presented life in America as the safer and freer alternative to Britain. Yet now, Britain appears to be back in the conversation, with questions surrounding homes, schools, and family connections. That is precisely why the alleged condition matters. If Charles has decided that Harry's return should remain personal unless certain boundaries are accepted, then the idea of simply stepping back into royal life disappears immediately. Security is another major part of the debate. Harry has spent years challenging decisions surrounding his protection in Britain. But security and royal status are not automatically the same thing. One does not necessarily guarantee the other. And that distinction could become crucial. Harry could return physically without returning institutionally. He could be Prince Harry, son of the king, family member, and still not be a working royal. That would completely change the calculation. Because the question would no longer be whether Harry wants to return. It would be what Harry is prepared to accept in exchange for returning. Even a limited royal role could trigger fresh questions about duties, security, public funding, access, and palace influence. And then there is Prince William. Imagine the situation. Charles wants peace with his son. Harry wants a relationship with his father. But William is preparing for the future monarchy and has spent years maintaining distance from the Sussex conflict. Any decision involving Harry's potential return to official royal life could therefore affect far more than one family relationship. That is the alleged royal dilemma underneath the entire story. Charles may want his son close. William may want firm boundaries. Harry may want another opportunity. And Meghan's position could add another layer of uncertainty. Those interests do not automatically fit together. Then comes the financial question. Critics have repeatedly questioned the costs surrounding security, commercial ventures, and the sustainability of a public profile heavily connected to royal controversy. Because attention can generate headlines, but attention is not the same as long-term stability. If Britain becomes the stage again, every appearance could attract enormous attention. Every photograph could become content. Every family meeting could become a headline. And every interaction with the royals could generate another round of speculation. That is why the alleged Charles condition could be brutally straightforward. Come back as family first, not as someone automatically entitled to a royal platform. That would place Harry in a very different position. Instead of returning and expecting the old privileges, he would have to accept that the previous arrangement is gone. 6 years ago, Harry and Meghan controlled much of the narrative because they could walk away. Now, if Harry really is considering a return, the balance could be different. Because coming back is not necessarily the same as being welcomed back on your own terms. And that may be the real twist. The biggest question is not simply whether King Charles wants Harry home. It is what kind of homecoming Charles is actually willing to offer. If the palace door opens for Harry personally, that does not automatically mean the institutional door opens with it. Harry could return to Britain without returning to the machinery of the monarchy. There could be no automatic restoration. No instant royal platform. No guarantee of the privileges that once came with being a senior working royal. And that is where the speculation surrounding Lady Colin Campbell becomes especially significant. The entire question of Harry's return has inevitably raised questions about motivation. Is this about family? The children? Rebuilding a connection with Britain? Or could practical circumstances also be influencing the decision? The timing has encouraged speculation because Harry's possible return comes after years of public disputes, commercial challenges, and complicated relations with the royal institution. If Harry now needs something from the palace, the balance of power may be very different from the moment he chose to leave. The most uncomfortable possibility would be this. King Charles opens the family door while keeping the institutional door closed. Father and son could meet privately without turning every interaction into negotiations over titles, duties, security, or public money. For Charles, that could represent a compromise. For Harry, however, it could mean returning to Britain without getting back everything he once had. And then there is William. Any meaningful royal role for Harry would inevitably raise questions about the future king. William has spent years preparing for a smaller working monarchy. Bringing Harry back into that structure would therefore be more than a family decision. It could affect the institution itself. That is why the alleged condition may not necessarily be about punishment. It could be about control and stability. Charles may want Harry close enough to rebuild their relationship, but not so close that old conflicts return and destabilize the monarchy. Meghan adds another complication. If Harry received a limited opening while Meghan remained outside official royal life, the couple would no longer be operating as a single package within the institution. Harry could potentially attend selected family occasions while Meghan focuses on her own projects. That would look very different from the controversial idea of a half-in, half-out royal role. And perhaps that is the entire point. The palace would not need to completely shut Harry out. It would simply need to make the rules clear. Come home if you want. Rebuild your relationship with your family. Let your children know their relatives. Spend time with your father. But do not confuse personal reconciliation with institutional restoration. Because that could turn the alleged condition into something much bigger. It could become a test. Does Harry genuinely want his family back, or does he also want the royal machinery surrounding that family? If he accepts the boundaries, the entire narrative changes. The return stops looking like a triumphant comeback. Instead, it becomes a negotiated homecoming on terms largely controlled by the palace. And if Lady Colin Campbell's warning is even remotely accurate, that could be the twist nobody expected. Harry may be able to return to Britain. The family door may open. The palace door may open. But the royal door could remain firmly closed.